Bible contradicts itself about how Ahaziah died. In 2 Kings 9, Ahaziah flees from Jehu. Jehu orders him struck near Gur by Ibleam. Ahaziah keeps fleeing, then he reaches Megiddo, and that's where he dies. So Kings itself already gives you the movement. So he's wounded in one place, he dies in another. So keep that in mind because it matters. Now go to 2 Chronicles 22. Chronicles says Ahaziah is found hiding in Samaria. He's brought to Jehu and he's killed. So at first glance, that looks different. And it is different in detail, but different in detail doesn't automatically mean that it contradicts. So here's the first thing that people miss. Chronicles is compressed. It gives you he's found, he's brought, he's killed, he's buried. Kings slows the event down and gives you the pursuit, where he's struck, where he flees, where he dies. So those aren't automatically competing claims. One account gives the event in broad details, the other gives the movement. And again, Kings itself proves that the striking and the death weren't the same movement. He struck near Ibleam and he later dies at Megiddo. So the event already stretches across more than one location. So that means Chronicles mentioning a capture before the death doesn't create some impossible new kind of sequence. There was already movement inside the event. Now, what about Samaria? I'll admit that's the hardest part to reconcile. Some argue Samaria can mean the broader region, not just the city, and that's possible, but I'm not going to pretend that the text proves that here because it doesn't. But I'm also not going to do the opposite and call it a contradiction before one's actually demonstrated. Because to prove a contradiction, you need two claims that can't both be true, and we don't have that yet. Remember, King says Ahaziah was struck near Ibleam, he fled, he died at Megiddo. Chronicles says he was found, brought under Jehu's control, and killed. Those details can fit inside a larger sequence. And while the exact route isn't given, that's very different from saying the accounts are impossible to reconcile. And there's another difference between the books that matters. Kings is tracking Jehu's purge through the north. It shows the pursuit, the military movement, and the execution of judgment. Chronicles is doing something else with Ahaziah. It tells you why this happened to him. His connection to Ahab's house, his bad counsel, his alliance with Joram. And then Chronicles says plainly that his downfall was from Elohim. So Chronicles spends more time on the cause, King spends more time on the pursuit. So again, that doesn't mean the geography doesn't matter. It means the books are selecting different details from the same event. That's how historical writing works. One writer can tell you why a man died, another can tell you how the pursuit unfolded. Neither writer has to give every detail of the movement for the account to be true. The problem is people tend to make two opposite mistakes with difficult passages. One side panics and invents details to force everything together. The other side sees different details and immediately declares an error. Both are bad readings. You don't invent what the text doesn't say, and you don't call something contradictory until the claims actually exclude each other. So with Ahaziah, Kings already separates the wounding from the death. Chronicles compresses the capture through the killing. The Samaria detail remains the hardest piece. A regional reading is possible. The exact route is uncertain, but the verdict in both books is the same. Ahaziah falls under judgment because he joined himself to Ahab's house. And that's not me dodging the tension, that's me refusing to claim more than the text gives. And that's how you handle a difficult passage without either protecting the Bible with made up details or attacking it with a contradiction that you haven't actually proven.